What's up, Modern Contractor TV? This is Teddy Slack here. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about Google reviews. Why are Google reviews so important? Why must you make this a number one project as a small business owner? Why you must pay attention to this and make sure you have the right systems and processes in place to gather as many reviews as possible. In this episode, we're going to talk with Clay Lawrence from Review Harvest. Clay is somebody I have worked with in the past who has a software that helps you automate the process to get reviews and to automatically respond to those reviews and also automatically post to your socials. Super important, the response and also the social posting to get your name out there. So in this episode, it's all about Google reviews. How do you get more? I'm going to talk about how I had 765 Google reviews for Simple Tank services when my next best competitor had about 200, and it blew my competition away. And my clients would mention it almost on every sales call. They mentioned how many reviews we had, how great they were. It's very important that you guys really concentrate on Google reviews. How do you get more? In this episode, we're going to cover exactly what software you should use, how it works, how to set it up, and how you can get more Google reviews for your home service business.
You're listening to Modern Contractor TV, the show for home service pros who want to build real business value, scale profits, and create a company that doesn't rely on them day to day. Hosted by entrepreneur, author, and advisor Teddy Slack, a builder of multiple seven-figure service businesses. Each episode brings you real-world strategies to help you grow, systemize, and prepare for a profitable exit. Let's get into it.
All right, Modern Contractor TV, what's going on? Today on the show, we have Clay Lawrence from Review Harvest, who is a vendor I've worked with in the past, and it's an amazing software. So I want to be able to speak to him today, talk about his software, talk about his background and how he's worked with contractors in the past, and let's get into it. So Clay, what's happening, man?
Nothing much. I'm stoked to be here. Excited to hopefully share something valuable.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Your story is really awesome and your product is so cool. I mean, I've worked with a lot of different softwares for, getting reviews, and I love your software. So I particularly want to speak to you. I've worked with some of my clients before, so I want to get you on and tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little background of who you are and what your software does.
Yeah, for sure. So little background on me. In high school, I really just kind of worked with local service businesses, home service businesses, all throughout college as well. I would just DM people on Instagram, Facebook, cold email them and try and sit down at a coffee shop. And at that coffee shop, I would just ask them, hey, what problems do you have? And then I would just go figure out how to solve them for them, right? A lot of times it was free or it was like $15 an hour or just like, whatever I could do just to get some experience and help people out. It's kind of what I did. And so, I just did a lot of marketing stuff for home service businesses. And then originally in high school, I also had my own like lawn care company for a little while. For like one or two summers, I did a lot of lawn care, a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. But I enjoyed being behind a computer a little bit more than out on a mower at about 95 degrees here in Florida. Yeah. So I started doing a lot more marketing stuff, and then graduated college, kept doing the marketing stuff for home service businesses. And then, I had a lot of clients I was doing a lot of different stuff for, all across different industries. And the one kind of common solution or one kind of common problem that all of them had was getting reviews. And I had run a couple tests with some of my clients on how to get them more reviews and end up getting great results with it. And I was like, all right, well, what if I just did this? So kind of rebranded everything to Review Harvest. And now we're just a software company that helps home service businesses get Google reviews. We plug directly into whatever CRM they're using or whatever systems they're using to automate the process of requesting reviews, responding to reviews, and repurposing those reviews for them so they can rank higher on Google and get more customers.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And it makes a huge difference. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I want to speak to you, because I don't think a lot of home service contractors realize how impactful reviews are in Google. I mean, it helps with the rankings. It gets you shown up in the map hack. So do you want to speak to that a little bit about how helpful it is to have reviews and current reviews, right? So it's not only, it's how many you have and how current those reviews are, right?
Yeah, for sure. Google's really been pushing review recency recently. I had a smaller business that just started working with us last week, and he sent me a photo of his new ranking, and he's up in the map pack. He used to be nowhere to be found. He's up in the map pack after getting like 15 or so reviews in the first week, and he
Nice.
has 50, 60, 100 less reviews than the other people in the map pack there. But Google's really looking for the recency of reviews. They're looking for obviously overall number of reviews, star rating, quality of the actual reviews. But it's just such slow hanging fruit for any home service business, any business in general. I mean, you can literally sit down, set up Review Harvest in 10 or 15 minutes, and then never worry about reviews again. And that part of your business is just taken care of. Obviously, there's so many different parts of a business where when you're a business owner or you're running a business, you're wearing many different hats. So anything
Yep.
that you can do once and never have to worry about again is easy money. And so that's what we try to do for people for reviews.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of the issues that a lot of contractors face is, when to ask for the reviews and then the follow-up part, right? It's like you could ask for it once, but a lot of times people don't just make the review right then and there. Even if you make it easy and send them a link, a lot of times they don't just stop and make the review. They may be busy or whatever the case may be, right? So can you speak about like how your software helps, follows up, and then it automatically posts? And then one of my favorite features is the fact that it automatically replies, and talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that and why that's big is also in Google's eyes. Why do you have to reply and why do you have to reply quickly?
Yeah.
Because that helps your rankings, right? So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when it comes to requesting reviews, I mean, it is the number of times you ask for the review is directly correlated to how many reviews you get. The more you ask, the more you will get. You just kind of have to find that fine line between, okay, now I'm actually bugging people versus whatever, right? And
Yeah.
and that line is different for every individual. But what we found is that if you've got a list of 1,000 previous customers you've worked with, if you get set up on Review Harvest, we do a review reactivation where we reach out to those previous 1,000 customers, slowly drip out that messaging. A lot of times people are sitting on 100 to 150, 200 extra reviews and just in that reactivation, depending on their list of their previous customers. And when it comes to following up, we have smart messaging optimization. So what that means is we send out over 500,000 review requests. We have all the data to know what scripts are performing the best, what follow-ups are performing the best, what's the best time of day, what's the best cadence. And so just by default, when you set up your Review Harvest account, messaging optimization is turned on, where we're going to continuously test and make sure you have the highest converting script and cadence. But when it comes to that, we're looking for whether they've clicked the link to leave a review. We're looking at whether they've responded and what's the sentiment of that response, right? So when it comes to responding reviews, actually responding reviews isn't a ranking factor. Back in the day, including keywords in your responses
That was
supposedly
the
used to
thing. Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people ran some tests and like post some stuff on Twitter, maybe some YouTube videos. And then of course it just like spread like wildfire, and it's still out there. It's still one of the most common things we get asked, like, hey, can you include keywords in the review responses? It's no longer a ranking factor. Whether it was or not previously, kind of up in the air, but responding to reviews is more of a conversion rate factor, meaning that if you responded to all your reviews thoughtfully, it makes you look more trustworthy as a business, and it makes potential customers reading those reviews more comfortable to work with you because they see you care about your customers, especially how you respond to a negative review. If you respond to a negative review and you're cussing them out, or you're getting mad, or you're being worse than them, they're probably not going to work with you, right? You want to respond to these reviews like you are responding to the potential customers reading the review, like saying, hey, I'm sorry you've had this inconvenience, even if it's someone you didn't even work with. I'm sorry you've had this inconvenience. We'd love, please give us a call. We'd love to make this right. And then if they don't, if it wasn't a customer or was a competitor or whatever, you can just say, hey, also we don't have your information on our
Yep.
records. Did you work with us? Is this the right business? So responding reviews is definitely our conversion rate factor, and that's why we love to take that off of a business owner's plate.
Yeah. Now, can you talk about a little bit about how important it is when you do get a negative review on how to maybe handle that? Like what's the best practice for a contractor to, not just let that slide, right? You really got to jump on that and try to fix that as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different variations of this, right? Number one is you did something wrong, like the business messed something up and did something not right, and you got a bad review for it. Second thing is you got a competitor, or somebody that a competitor, an old disgruntled employee, someone isn't a customer, but they're leaving you a 1-star review. And then the third one is you get like a random 1-star review from someone you've never met or don't
Yep.
know, and you can't really tell. And so when it actually was your fault, what I recommend, very first thing is, if you're upset, just take a second to cool off. Like, don't
Yeah.
respond. Don't, don't go dark on them and get, pretty upset with them, especially publicly. What you want to do is you want to call them and you want to send them a link to leave a review again. And you want to call them and try and sort it out, right? So whether it is going back and fixing whatever you messed up, whether it is some sort of refund, that's kind of up to your discretion if you want to do that. Actually, one of the main reasons people love using Review Harvest is because we can build up hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of reviews sometimes where one review doesn't do anything.
Yep.
I had a water company we were working with who was refunding thousands of dollars every month or every quarter to these negative reviews because they didn't want these 1-star reviews to bring their ranking down and say they were a 4.4 company or 4.5 company, because one-star review can really tank your rating if you don't have a lot of reviews as a buffer. Yep. Right. And so if you start working with Review Harvest or you start getting a whole bunch of reviews, that's going to give you a bunch of a buffer where, like, when you have 600 reviews and you get 1-star review, it's not really going to do anything. It's not really going to affect your rating that much. And so that's what I recommend: calling, trying to make it right. If you want a refund, that's up to you, to try and get that review moved. And if you just send them that review link, they can go there, they can change the star rating, they can delete the review, they can do whatever they want to with it from there. The second thing is, if it is a disgruntled employee, a competitor, I wouldn't respond right away. I would try and report it. As off topic or conflict of interest, or there's a couple different ways you can report reviews on Google, but try and report it. Wait 24 to 72 hours, and then I would respond and basically say, once again, hey, I'm sorry you've had this issue. Once again, you still want to be apologetic. You still want to respond to a potential customer reading this review. They don't know whether this is a competitor. They don't know this is a disgruntled employee. And so you just want to say, hey, I'm sorry you feel this way. We would love to make this right. I think that you might be our competitor. I think, you just kind of respond as if somebody's reading it to explain why somebody might have left this review. Yep. But still, you don't want to come off as, a jerk. You want to make sure you're coming off as someone who's good to work with, because they're going to go look. A lot of people will look at your reviews, sort by the lowest, and they'll say, okay, if things go south, if something goes wrong, how's this company going to respond? Exactly. So you want to make sure that you are the type of company that's going to make things right. And the last one is just like a fake review. If somebody you've never, the Google account is all weird. You've never known these people at all. I once again just recommend reporting it, apologizing for the inconvenience, saying, hey, let's get in touch, let's make things right. And then also basically addressing, like, hey, we don't have you on our records anywhere. Are you sure this review is meant for us? And that way you just kind of diffuse the situation instead of making yourself look like a jerk.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I was just say, listen, we ran through all our files. I don't recognize the name. I'm not sure if you're a client. Maybe if you were done under a different name, I'd be more than happy to try to work this out with you. Just give me the file name. I would try to make it seem like which was true. Like, a lot of times you would get reviews that's like, I don't know this person. This name is not in our system. Yeah. No, that's definitely big. I mean, as far as connecting the software to CRMs, because I feel like, I've had softwares similar to yours in the past where if it's not connected to a CRM, and I have clients where it's like they don't even have a CRM, maybe they're even like paper based, and I'm like, listen, you have to put a process together in order to send this link out. But like, I feel like when you have a CRM and you could connect it to, and it's just a click of a button, that process, simplifying that process for your admin or whoever's going to request it is huge, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure. I mean, I think our goal when we start working with any business is how can we integrate into their systems where they don't change anything. Like, you do exactly what you've been doing, and your team does exactly what they've been doing, and you just start getting reviews for it, right? If you're marking all the jobs as done, if you're marking all the invoices as paid, if you're collecting money through your CRM or payment processor, we just want you to keep doing what you're doing, and then when you do that, you start getting reviews as well. And so the integration component is huge. You can obviously add contacts manually to Review Harvest. It's pretty easy. And we can work with you on creating custom integrations. And we're integrated into Zapier and a lot of the major players. And we're trying to get more and more native integrations, because the native integrations are really easy. Like, for example, with Jobber. It's like connect, import all previous customers. You trigger when you want to request a review. Whether job's closed, invoice complete, etc. And then you are able to, just start getting reviews on autopilot. You don't change a thing.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's a huge step where if it's not connected right, you could have the best software in the world, but if you're not utilizing it and you're not using it properly, that along with the right timing, I feel like is really big. I talk about this a lot with like my clients and with my old business. I would tell my admin staff, like, it's all about timing, right? Because if you get a client that calls you in and they're praising your guys in the field and they're like, oh, they did such a great job, that's the right time. Like, oh, you know what? This would be amazing if you can make a review. Boom, send them the link right then and there. It's like you get them while it's hot, and then they make that review. That's what I found, which is really huge. Timing is huge. You don't want to ask at the wrong time. If you have a client that, like you said, maybe they didn't pay the invoice yet, maybe the job's not finished, maybe you need to file paperwork or something. Like, you don't want to ask for the review at that point because you didn't complete the job. So that might aggravate the client, which means they're not going to, make a good review. So timing is huge. I felt like too.
For sure, and it depends on the type of business, right? So like we found with our cleaning companies that normally when they're cleaning, the homeowner's not home. Like most of the time, homeowners will leave when they're doing their normal cleaning, weekly routine or whatever. And we found that requesting a review right after they leave or mark the job as done is not the best time because they
Really?
haven't seen the home, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You have to wait until later that day in the evening, or you need to wait till the next day to make sure they've seen the home,
That makes
which
sense.
is totally different than if you're a plumbing company and your toilet is overflowing with crap and
Yep.
it smells awful, and you go save the day, clean everything up, everything smells better, it's all fixed.
Yep.
Boom, get the review now because they're stoked right now.
Yes. No, I found that was huge. I mean, for Simple Tank, we had 700. Well, we have 765 reviews right now. I still consult with that business, and we were definitely the market leader in that industry in my area as far as the amount of reviews. And the big reason why was the timing of the reviews and how simple I made it for my employees to ask for those reviews. For example, like I had my employees had a button on their CRM, which they had on their phone, where they would take photos of the job and all that stuff. And they literally would just have to go to that CRM on their phone, click a button, and it instantly would send out the link. So it's not like they had to remember a link or go there and copy and paste it and text it to the client. Like you have to make the process super simple for your employees, and also the timing. Those two things connected with the right software, it's like game changer.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And that's why, like, we try to give some insight, especially when we're doing onboardings. We try and give some insight as to what they want the wait step to be. So depending on whatever trigger we're using, you can do it right away. You can wait a day. You can wait 2 days. You can wait within a couple hours to make sure you request the review at the perfect time. And really, what we found is that if it's not right away and it's not the next day, you really want to make sure you're requesting reviews later in the day. In terms of like when we do our reactivation messaging, it's not necessarily tied to a service. The service might have been a year ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago, right? We find that just later in the day, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. is by far and away the best time to request a review. And so if you forgot to request a review and it's been a while since a job, you want to try and send those requests out then when people aren't at work, they're on their phones, they're chilling, they're relaxing. That's the best time to get that review. And also the tricky thing too is that when you request a review, like the QR codes, the tap cards, those are great because you can get a lot of reviews. But what we found when we tested this is that unfortunately, a lot of times you'll get lower quality reviews from the QR codes or from like the tap cards because you're there with the person face to face. You're reviewing the work. You're kind of closing out the job. You're saying bye, and you say, "Hey, would you mind tapping this and leaving a review?" Well, they don't feel like typing up a paragraph and adding photos right there when they're talking to you, trying to get you paid, whatever. Whereas if you request, maybe send that text, they can get to when they want to, or you send it out the next day, or you send it out later in the day. Now, when they're chilling and they're sitting on their couch with their afternoon beer, now they can add the photos. Now they can say, "Hey, they were a great company," and add more context because photos, keywords in the actual review. If you leave a keyword in actual review, that's very valuable as opposed to the response, which doesn't really matter. But yeah, that stuff is.
Now, do you have any tips or tactics that you could try to help with getting those keywords put in? Like, are you specifically asking the clients to put like, "Hey, can you put in this service, unclogged drain," or whatever that keyword might be? Are you have any tactics there?
Yeah, it's really tricky because we don't want it to sound like work because we've played around.
Make it simple, we
played around this before because you're like, hey, it'd be really beneficial if you use these words. And what you'll find is you'll get less reviews.
Yeah.
And so and also I think that like the people that were going to leave a long review will still do that. The people that are just going to leave a 5-star review now won't do that because they're like, oh, now I got to copy and paste this or say this, and it seems like work. And so I think there's a fine line there. I think maybe if you're the type of company that already is beating everybody by 300 reviews, you already have the most reviews on Google by a lot, then it might make sense to emphasize, hey, I want quality reviews. So making sure they have a photo to upload with it, get your text to send them a photo after the job or whatever. And then also also making sure that, you tell them what words to use and, give an example of that.
Yeah. So as far as photos, because I know that helps. Those are really ranked highly in Google's mind, right? The photos. I mean,
For
is
sure.
that something where, like you just said, have the text? Because that's something I really wasn't doing, back when I was really growing Simple Tank. But now I feel like recently that Google is really putting a lot of, credit behind having photos and reviews.
For sure. When you go and look at a Google business profile and the reviews are automatically sorted by most relevant, a lot of times those top reviews are either going to be have photos, they're going to be long reviews, or they're going to be from local guides, which local guides are just people that leave a lot of reviews. So Google
Yep.
says that their review is worth more because they're, a reputable person that leaves a lot of reviews. And so it's tricky because adding photos, giving them a photo to add and asking them, it does add friction, right? And so
Yep.
it's one of those things we haven't really pushed any method on anybody to just add photos and stuff. We're still kind of focused on like, hey, let's get as many reviews as possible. A certain percentage of people are going to leave an amazing review. A certain percentage of people are just going to leave kind of a review, just 5-star rating, whatever. But for most people that aren't leading the chase on Google by hundreds of reviews, it just makes sense to go ahead and get the numbers up.
Yeah. Now you said before about the reactivation campaigns, which that's something that definitely works. And I guess the question I have for you is like, I've read, and some people say that if you have too many reviews too quickly, that could go against you. That could Google could see that as a red flag. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So Google prefers a steady influx of reviews over bursts, right? So if you get 50 reviews 1 month and then 0 reviews, 0 reviews, 0 reviews, and then 0 reviews for 6 months, Google's not a huge fan of that. After six months after you got that month of 50 reviews, if you haven't got any reviews, you're going to start losing out to some of the people that are consistently getting reviews every week.
Yep.
And so what we do is we kind of drip out the messaging and do it relatively slowly to make it look more organic, make it look more natural. And we're even thinking about dripping out even slower. What I've said is that we have had people, now that we've worked with so many people, probably over 500 service businesses, sure, people have started working Review Harvest and then their profile gets suspended or whatever, but it's only happened 2 or 3 times, and every single time it's been coupled with an address change, with like a redirect website URL, which is a big no-no. Like changing your address on Google, you basically it's a nightmare. Yeah. So they already had that happening. They were already in that process, and they signed up with Review Harvest in the process of doing that. And so like, okay, that happened. The other time was when he had a website URL redirect. So the website URL was his business name on Google, but then it rerouted immediately to a different brand. Huge no-no. And then also there was some keyword stuffing and some other stuff going on in their profile and open 24/7. There's a lot of things that Google's looking for that they're trying to kind of get rid of. And so it does put more attention on your profile, but if you've kind of already dotted your I's and crossed your T's and your profile is good to go, it's not going to be an issue.
And you could slowly drip those out, right? So let's say somebody has 500 clients, you're not going to send 500 review requests out day one, right? You do,
Exactly.
if I remember right, you do like, maybe 10 or 20 a day over like a couple weeks, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We slowly drip it out to kind of make those come over a couple of weeks instead of just 1 week or 1 day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, as far as the repurposing, I thought that was a really cool feature of your software, where it's able to automatically, post on Facebook. And, is there any other platforms that you could connect it to as well?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the website, we have widgets to embed on
Yep.
people's websites. So pop-up one that comes up in the bottom corner of somebody's site, and then a carousel one you can embed on your homepage, whatever. Those are just going to increase conversion rate on your site, right?
Yeah.
You're getting 100 visitors on your site and you've got 0 social proof and you're converting 1%. So you're getting like 1 lead for every 100 visitors. If you've got review widgets showing them all your social proof, you've got a carousel showing how many reviews you have, your conversion rate's going to go up. You're going to start converting more of those visitors into leads. And so the website, and then also Facebook and Instagram is the new social media posting feature we've got coming out. It's kind of our old version is decent. We can post reviews, but it's not beautiful. We basically our developers have built a lightweight version of Canva almost. So, like Canva, you can move stuff around and add a photo or whatever. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to connect your Facebook, connect your Instagram, upload your background photos, upload photos of your team, upload your logo, move where you want your logo to go on the photo, move where you want the review card to go, where like the review text will say, make it bigger, make it smaller, create 5 to 10 templates of those. And then when you get a 5-star review, boom, we can start automatically posting it, or you can set it to like manual approval and we can kind of manually approve this.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, it definitely makes a huge difference. I mean, having the reviews on your site, the carousel, like you said, even the pop up in the bottom corner, we've had that set up on Simple Tank for years now, and it's huge. I mean, because it is social proof. People come to your site, they want to see, oh wow, look at okay, then they click on it and it brings you to Google. They can read the reviews. It makes it really simple for them. So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, what else do you have coming down the pike for Review Harvest? What else is going on?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a free school community right now that we just created for home service business owners, where we just give SEO advice. And so I have a weekly coaching call on Tuesdays where I hop on with people, run reports on their Google business profile on their website. We can just give free SEO advice. And we're just doing that as a way to hopefully help all of our customers get more customers, but then also help anybody that hasn't started with Review Harvest, give them a really low barrier entry of, hey, see what it's like working with us. Watch our training videos, get on our coaching calls, that sort of stuff. And then from a feature perspective, a lot of stuff in the back end, just making the existing stuff better. Like how can we make the review responses better? Maybe give more flexibility, more functionality. And then we have potentially some referral and some referral campaigns and some rebooking campaigns, and then potentially another form of reactivation instead of a review reactivation. Basically a reactivation where you can send out an offer to your list via text and email. And so we got some of those things coming down. Those might be way further down the pipeline, but we've got some other smaller features like employee leaderboards and just stuff like that. So you can see who has the most reviews.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. That's, I think that's a great feature. I mean, that's one of the things that we did at Simple Tank is we made it almost like gamified it essentially. Yeah. Right. So we would give out bonuses. There was a minimal amount of reviews they'd have to get. I forget what it was, but it was like 5 reviews a week. And then if you hit that minimum, then you were put into the bucket, and then whoever got the most would get $100 or whatever it was. I mean, it was decent. I mean, so somebody who's getting $100 bonus every week, it's $400 a month. I mean, that's pay somebody's car payment or insurance. And it incentivized them, right? So if people are incentivized, they're like, all right, well, I need to get this review, and we would tell them, we would have our employees say, tell the client to mention your name, and that's how we would count them, because then we would know, oh, this is from Jennifer, this is from Thomas, whatever, so that was one of the things that we did. I mean, is that something that you see that works as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of our businesses that do the best and have the most amount of reviews, they have it kind of end-to-end incentivized for the people on the front lines, the technicians, the office staff, the employees, all the way down to obviously the owner wants that review, right? And the cool thing is when you're giving incentives to your employees for reviews, not only do they want to do a good job, but they're obviously going to be more likely to ask for that review now. It's just everybody tells their employees ask for a review, but it's just awkward. It's just a little bit more awkward than they're probably used to, right? And it's something most of the technicians don't know like the actual value of it too. And so if you as the business owner are putting a dollar sign on it or saying, hey, we're going to do this if you get X amount of reviews, it just shows that, hey, this is really valuable, and it kind of transfers that down to the rest of the organization. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's a project that needs to be super high top of mind for every small business owner. Like if you're not like really focusing and speaking to your employees about reviews constantly, it's not going to happen. That's what I found, because I've went through periods of running the business where I didn't focus on it and it just didn't happen. But when I really focused on it, this is years ago when I really started. I mean, I started with reviews back in 2009 when I first launched my company, and I was like, this is important. We got to do it. And back then and I don't even know if this was allowed with Google, but I would take gift cards to the clients. I'd say, listen, if you fill out the review, you get a $25 gift card, Visa, and then I found out you're not allowed to do that. Right. So, but it was like a manual process. I had a form printed out for the homeowner, and I'd give them the form. They would just step-by-step process and how to go make the review. But it was difficult because they had to go manually do it. And it's like over time, I learned throughout the years, no, you have to simplify this process, make it super simple for them, have it automatically follow up, and then they'll do it. And again, it's all about timing, because a lot of times you'll ask for a review and it's not the right time and place. Maybe they're busy. You got something else going on, but they might be sitting on their couch, like you said, and then all of a sudden ding, what's that? Review Harvest. I just did that job with them. Oh yeah, they did a great job. And then they're sitting on their couch. Now they have time to make that review. So it's all about those follow-ups. It's about timing. And all this is what's going to help you guys gain more reviews, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, I mean, we had the most reviews in our industry, and it was, I can't tell you how many times the clients would call in and be like, oh my gosh, your reviews are amazing. I've read all
Yeah.
your wonderful reviews. They mentioned how many reviews we had and no one else had this many.
Yeah.
All the time the clients would mention it. So it has to be top of mind. It has to be a number one priority that you as the owner have to be constantly working on, and incentivizing your employees. Because I think without it, they're just not going to do it, right? It's just not, you have to incentivize them, and it's the best, in my opinion, ROI. Even if you give them $50 a week, I mean, it's $200 a month. I mean, where are you going to throw $200 a month behind marketing where it's going to give you this kind of return, where you're going to get that trust, right? From the clients. So
for sure. And that's why I say there's so many things I want to unpack there. But like, reviews do two things. They generate awareness and they help convert that awareness. And nowadays with AI and with Google, whatever, like anybody can slap together content or a website or 50 pages of a website. That's why Google could care less how big your website is. They want to know that your website has some authority to it, has some like actual prominence, that you're legit. How do you do that? You get reviews, right? You get reviews. And so, they sit there and they stay there forever, and they can be your little sales employees that are constantly selling for you. They're never going anywhere, and it's a long-term play. And if you're planning on being around for a while, it's well worth it to get those reviews. And I think too, like the biggest companies that we work with are not worried about like, oh, I'm so worried about bugging our customers to request a review. Like that's probably one of the number one things that I think keeps people from working with a review software or getting enough reviews, because they're scared to bug their customers. But the fact of the matter is that one, people are busy. If you did a good job, we like to go at it. If you did a good job, people are more than happy to leave you a review, unless it's like somebody that doesn't have a Google account or they're really weird. There's like 1% of people probably like, no, I don't leave any reviews, But if you did a good job, people are more than willing to leave you a review and help you grow. And also, if you understand that, hey, I sent out a message to 1,000 people, to all my 1,000 previous customers, we got 150 reviews, but I had, 5 customers say, stop, quit messaging me, this is annoying or whatever. Well, those 5 customers, probably, we think it's a push-pull, right? Those 150 customers loved you. You got 150 new reviews. Those reviews are going to help you get so many more customers, right? Those 5 customers that are frustrated, that was the price tag of the 150 reviews, right? You can't have one without the other. And those people probably were never going to work with you ever again, right? And so it's well worth, a couple people saying stop, heaven forbid you get an email and a text. It's such a nuisance, but for the business, it's huge. I mean, those reviews are going to stay around forever. So.
Yeah. Now let's talk about some things that you shouldn't do as a contractor. As far as like I was just saying, like I was paying customers, right? There's certain things you're not allowed to do in Google's, with their rules and stuff like that. So what have you seen in the industry where people try to buy reviews and things like that nature? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just please, if you're listening to this, please don't ever buy fake reviews. Don't ever buy fake reviews. I'm telling you, right now in overseas in the UK and stuff, Google has started to test basically flagging certain Google business profiles with suspicious activities. So people that purchase fake reviews are getting a red flag on their Google business profile saying, we've suspected, fake engagement on this profile. That is going to absolutely kill your conversion rate on Google. And they're keeping records of this stuff. Like they're not just going to forget, right? Like if they do roll this out across the US and stuff like this, and you purchase fake reviews, you could get that flag. And also, another thing is that these reviews aren't going to stay. Like whether it's in 3 months, 6 months, a year, or 3 years, Google will remove these reviews, because oftentimes the people that are creating these fake reviews, they're doing it from a Gmail account where they probably have like some IP proxies that say they're residential in the US somewhere, but they keep doing it. They keep leaving, 5 reviews a month or 10 reviews a month or whatever. But what happens is it only takes one of their reviews in their account getting, brought up to Google and saying, hey, it's a fake account, a bot account. They remove that Gmail account. Now all the reviews they previously left are gone now as well. Right. And so one fake reviewer, you might have purchased 20 reviews, right? And you got 20 fake reviews from 20 different Gmail accounts. Well, eventually those Gmail accounts are going to get reported and taken down, and all 20 of those reviews will be removed. And so, it's just a waste of money. Like, honestly, just text your friends and family, just like give them a free quote. Say, hey, if I was going to do this, it'd be this price. Can you leave me a review now? Get your friends and family to do it if you really need it.
So one of the things that I did, and I did this a long time ago, it's probably back in like 2000 and like, I don't know, maybe 12, 13. I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like I was just working on reviews. And when I went to everybody in my office, I was like, hey, go on our Google and make a review. Now I didn't think anything about it, but Google tracks the IP address. So they saw that it was all these reviews came in at the same time from the same IP address, and boom, they flagged my account. I was blackballed for like 6 months on Google.
Yeah.
It crushed my business. Like it was bad. Like I had to like beg and borrow and steal to get back onto Google's good graces over time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely don't do that. Don't ask for reviews from your employees. Google does track this type of stuff, and it hurt me tremendously. So yeah, asking friends and family that are like not in the same office, then you'll probably be okay. But
well, and if you're like if you're a location where people come and, come to your location, like you're a cryo place or a restaurant or whatever, like brick and mortar shop, then you can get reviews there to be fine. But when you're a service area business, where people aren't supposed to visit it and they see like 30 people leave in one day, then it's like, oh, I mean, honestly, I think you could do that. You could do that and just get them to do it over a couple weeks and you'd be fine. Right. And just do it more gradually, and maybe don't all do it from the office.
Exactly, do it from home. Go home, make a review at your house. On
the company's time.
Yes, yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Well, listen, Clay, it was really nice talking to you about this. I mean, reviews are, like I said, they were huge for my business. I preach this to all my clients. Anybody I work with is like, this is the number one thing you have to be concentrating on. Reviews, your Google business page, the local SEO is massive for home service contractors. I say sometimes it's even more important than your website. Obviously, you need a website. That's important too. But like having this optimized, and this is a huge part of optimizing that Google business page is the reviews. I can't. And when you look at, I look at a lot of contractors stuff and I'm like, you're not getting reviewed. This is such a low hanging fruit. Like you said, it's such a low hanging fruit. If you set it up automatically, it's literally a click of a button. It's not difficult to do. And it holds a huge amount of weight. For sure. I mean, 10 and 15 minutes could change your business forever if you set it up. And that's one thing I used to say when I was on sales calls all the time is like, so you said you've been in business for 15 years and you've got 17 reviews. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say that you've made more than 17 people happy in your business, right? Like there's more than 17 customers that are happy with you, because if not, we've got an issue, right? You've been in business for this long. And so you already got the customers. You've already done the hard work of making the customers happy. The easy thing is setting up Review Harvest or some sort of software or some sort of system in your business to get these reviews. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Well, listen, Clay, where can people find you? Where can they find Review Harvest, and how can they contact you to sign up, hopefully, with your software? Yeah, for sure. Just reviewharvest.com. Go there. You'll get all the information. Also, if you want to join the free school community, it's just school, SKOOL.com/local. And that's our free school community. And then just look up Clay from Review Harvest on YouTube, and I post a bunch of free videos and content about Google Business Profile optimization. I even do like roasts, so you can submit your video and you can submit your business, and I'll roast your business. Like I'll roast your website and your Google Business Profile and just say, hey, change this, tweak that, whatever. I'm pretty nice. I'm not too bad. Yeah. But reviewharvest.com. It takes 10, 15 minutes to set up. Well, if you do it during business hours, we'll probably give you a call when you're setting it up and make sure to walk you through it. Okay. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and look forward to keep working with you in the future here. Yes, sir. Thanks, Teddy. All right. Take it easy.